Hi, welcome to the Peripatetic Anthropologist. My name's Bruce, and I'm an anthropologist. And the next few videos are going to be about my 30 years in Indonesia and 30 questions that I've been asked by other folks, friends of mine, people that have read my blogs or websites, and questions that I've pondered over the years, and still ponder. And so we're going to be looking at what life is like here, both as a foreigner and for Indonesians as well. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about my background, and so just a few biographical details. I've been here for 30 years. I came here well, that's the first question that I get often asked. How did you end up in Indonesia? Well, I came here to teach. I was offered a job teaching second grade in a little school in a mining community in what was then called Irian Jaya. It's now called Papua. And I thought I would come for a year and then go back. I was a teacher in California, in Marin County. I thought I'd go back to Marin County, back either to my district or another district, and take up my job there. As it is, I've stayed here for 30 years. Why? Well, that's going to be partly one of the big questions that has to be broken into little parts to really understand. So, let's get started. Question number 2. How many places have you lived in Indonesia? That one's pretty easy. I've lived on 3 different islands over the last 30 years. First one, like I said in response to question 1, was Papua or Irian Jaya, and I was there for 9 years. I've lived in Sumbawa, the island of Sumbawa, where I was teaching for another mining company. Variety of different grade levels. I was a tech coordinator and taught math and social studies and English and science, mostly to middle school students, but also elementary students. And then Bali has been home base for these 30 years. I built my first house just to the west of here in a village called Antran, which I think now probably has a number of foreigners. At the time, I was the only one. And after that, after the birth of my first daughter, Mercedes, we moved to Singaraja, where we are now, and we've been here ever since. And so this has been home base, where I've been back and forth. It's an urban area. We're in the city, right on the coast. You can hear there's motorcycles, a lot of noise here. This is not the, oh, Bali is all green and rice fields. Cities. There's a lot of cities. That's where most of the people live. That's where I live. So this is the city of Singaraja, and this has been my home. And that motorcycle there is one of my neighbors who is kind of irritating at times because he has a kind of a home motorcycle repair shop, and so it gets noisy from time to time. So, 3 places I've lived in Indonesia, and that's the answer to question number 2. Okay, so let's get to question number 3. So I said I lived on 3 different islands, and I've been asked, what's your favorite island? You hear the guys over there still pounding away, and I was thinking, well, maybe I'll video inside, but I'm kind of in a mood to be outside, and this gives you an idea of what it's like to live in a kampung. kampungs are noisy. You want to live in a quiet, peaceful life, go live in a rice field until your neighbor who has the rice field decides to build a villa there, and you have to put up with 6 months or a year of construction while another villa is built in Bali. Okay, and I'll go on my villa rant again some other time. So let's get back to the question. Which is my favorite place to live out of the 3 islands? So Bali, okay, this is where I am. This is where I guess I'll stay until I die. My wife's from here, my kids were born here, my Indonesian kids. My granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, and my grandson. So, family, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm in Bali. Well, I live on the ocean, as you saw, and I love the ocean, love snorkeling, although I haven't done it much recently. It's one of my plans is to get out and start snorkeling at least 3 times a week and get some more exercise. And where I live is important. And so what's Bali have? It's got all the cultures. It has Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Buddhists. Why do I mention religion? Well, because religion here is not like religion in the West. Religion is part of everyday life. It's not just a Sunday thing. It's not an Easter or Christmas thing. It permeates everything in life. The way you brush your teeth, what you do in the morning, how you raise your kids. Well, a lot of religions do that. When's the first time they're allowed to touch the ground? What do you do when they get sick? What does that mean? Well, so religion is everywhere and in every part of life. So I like the multiculturalness of Bali. I like the physical aspects of Bali when you're away from the tourist centers. You look out over here on the mountains, and you've got mountains, and you've got forest, and the sea. There's some beautiful places to travel here, and I'm not talking about the ones that are Instagrammable, the waterfalls that everybody seems to have in their videos. Just the land and the villages. The villages are, wow. There's these small villages, and at some point I'll do a video going through some of the small villages so you can see what's really cool about these places, why I love them, why I would love to live in every village in Bali, just to see what it was like, to see what it's like to live in a smaller village, up in the mountains, on the East Coast, on the West Coast. So many places, except for places like Kuta, Seminyak, Legian, Canggu, and even Ubud, although my friends from Ubud will go, wow, Ubud's great. Not for me though. We all have different tastes, and Ubud's nice for me to visit, to see friends, and 2 days, I'm ready to go. So, love Bali. Sumbawa. I lived in Sumbawa for 6 years in a village called Sakongkang, Sakongkang Bawa. Lower Sakongkang, there was an upper Sakongkang, Sakongkang Atas. We built a nice house, big house. We had a hectare of land, a really large house, and a lot of animals. We had goats and chickens and ducks, geese, cats, dogs, fish, monkeys, lizards, although we didn't keep the lizards, they were just there naturally. A lot of snakes, which we had to watch for because there are a lot of poisonous snakes. You ran across, let's say not ran into, although I did run into a few things while I was in Sumbawa. You ran across more water buffalo and goats and in the road than you did cars and motorcycles. Sumbawa is this huge island. It's so it's amazing. It's mountains and hills, beautiful beaches, uninhabited beaches, great surf if you're a surfer, really friendly people. Hasn't been influenced by tourism, by Westerners like Bali has. That's one of the things I really, really liked about Sumbawa. And if it hadn't been for the education of my kids, I'd still be in Sumbawa. So that's what's my favorite place, Sumbawa. I would have liked to have lived there forever. But you know, I just had to leave, unfortunately. And you know, second place is okay. Second place is good. Okay, well, I didn't finish up this afternoon. Something happened with my camera. I lost the part of the video that I was doing. So the third island, Papua's amazing. It was called Irian when I lived there, which I mentioned in another video, and now it's two provinces, Papua and West Papua. So I lived there for 9 years. First place I lived in Indonesia, and 7 years up in the mountains in a little mining community, and back in those days it was like a mining camp. It really developed over the 7 years that I was there, and has developed even more from what I hear. And yeah, it was good. It was good life, good school, nice people. I loved getting out in the villages every weekend, which I did. I had a lot of friends from the different tribes in Papua that were living outside the mining town. And then the last 2 years we moved down to the lowlands and to a community that the mining company had built kind of just out of the rainforest. And that was kind of like a little American suburb transplanted into the jungle in New Guinea. And we lived there for 2 years, and it was interesting. It had a bowling alley, it had a shopping center. It had American style houses, air conditioning, just about everything. It was very comfortable. But my most fun was getting out into the community, outside of the mining town, and over to the Tamika Yacht Club, which was a place to stay, a place to meet people. It was a place for foreigners and locals to get together and interact. I helped build it with my friend and the founder, and dearly departed friend, Hassan Rajanik. And I love that place. I loved Hassan. We had a great time there. He had a great vision of bringing everybody together. And Biak, the island of Biak, great. I love the island of Biak. I don't know why people say you like Biak, but yeah, Biak is a really interesting place. It has a great history going back to World War II, well, way beyond that, going back to the 1600s. And somewhere I have a lecture on it that I'll be putting on in the future. And then there's Rajampat and some of the islands in West Papua. So that's question number 3, I think. And then question number 4. Now, question number 4, what's that? Let's go into the next logical step. Question number 3 was, what's your favorite island? Question number 4, where do you live in Bali?